You know what I'm
Okay, but
saying?
it's really not that difficult to just, like, you're not black, so, like, you can't say it,
So,
and it's not that
so
difficult.
only black people can say certain words? That's very privileged to be black, then, eh?
Yeah, privileged.
It is. It's a racial privilege. If only blacks can say certain words that whites can't say, that's privilege.
Okay, but obviously, like, white people are, like, more privileged,
How?
like, white privilege.
How?
Are you, like, trying to say that, like, white people are, like, oppressed or something?
I'm trying to say that white people cannot say certain things in public and blacks can, so that's an advantage for the blacks. That's a racial privilege. Now,
Okay, but
show
like
me the white
white
racial
people
privilege.
in general have a lot more like advantages.
Okay, show me one. Give me one real world example of white people having an advantage over blacks
Okay, but I'm
that's
just
in law.
saying, like, if it's for you, oh yeah, it's just a word, then it shouldn't be that like difficult for you to just like not say it
Hang
because
on
you're
a
just some like
second.
white
I'm asking
cis
you to give me
guy.
an example. Give me one example where whites are privileged.
I mean, like for example, like slavery and stuff like that. Like
Hang
obviously,
on a
like black people are
second.
like oppressed.
Slavery
Like,
happened
are
300
you?
years ago. Give me one example today, right now.
Well, obviously it's probably like still happening, but like, are you
I'm not
trying to like
hearing an
deny that
example.
like
Give me an
that's
example.
not really like what this is about? I'm just
Oh, so now
saying
that's not
you
what it's
shouldn't say the
about. So
N
now
word
you want to get out of the example because you can't give me one. See, that's the problem with you people is you say these things that you can't prove.
with what people?
You leftist
What
anti-white,
do you mean with you people?
you leftist anti-white who come around and try to guilt trip white people.
Anti-white.
You're anti-white because you're going around saying white people have privilege and you can't prove it.
Oh my God, you're fucking delusional, man.
Well, I'm
Like,
delusional, but you can't provide me with the proof
what are you
of
also
your
like pro-life and
claims.
like homophobic or
So
something?
you're diverting the topic again. I would just want you to give me one example that whites have an advantage over black people. I give you an example. I said black people can say
Okay,
no, and I can't say no in public without getting punished for it, so that means I'm less privileged.
Okay, for example, like black people being like fucking shot at just because of like the color of their skin. Like I
Whoa.
think that's a pretty good
Whoa, whoa,
example.
whoa. You're saying black
Like
people have been shot at because of the color of their skin. Now, give me an example of that.
George Floyd.
Okay, so you think George Floyd, well, one, he wasn't shot. Two, he wasn't killed because he's black. Prove to me that he was killed because he's black.
Do you like
Police
that's
brutality does
literally
police brutality does not automatically mean it's because of race. Okay? Police brutality can happen to white people, and it does happen to white people. You just don't hear about it cuz the media doesn't care. But tell me show me how that cop was racist. Prove it. Did he say
okay, but
something
like
racist? Did he call him? No. Did he ever call black people? No. Never. They didn't prove that in the court. No evidence in court that he was a racist. None. So how's it race? The cop could have been black and done that. And black cops have killed blacks. Are you going to say that blacks hate other blacks? When a black guy kills a white guy, do I assume it's because he hates white people?
maybe, I don't know.
But why would I assume that? You're assuming racial motives. Shouldn't why would I assume when someone kills somebody else that they did it
It
because of
was
race?
literally like all over the news. Like what are you even talking about, man?
It was all over the news does not prove the cops are racist. You have to show me that he hated black people
Okay,
and that he's
anyways,
no, not anyways. You cannot prove that cops racist. You want to assume things about white people because you're biased against whites, right?
I'm literally
Yeah,
white
and you
myself,
you are
okay?
biased against whites. You're white and you have self-hatred and guilt for being white. And you
What?
make assumptions about white people. You think if a white
I
cop,
make assumptions about white people while
yeah,
I'm literally white, but okay.
just being white does not mean you don't assume things about white people. You've been conditioned to do so. You just fucking did it. You just fucking did it. You just said that the guy
Okay,
who
well,
killed
you're
Floyd is a racist because he's white. Not because he said anything racist, not because they proved he's a racist, just because he's white. That's an
I
assumption.
never said it was because he was white.
That you said he killed a black guy and that's it. That's your proof that he's a racist.
Oh my god. That's literally, you're like trying to fucking like gaslight me or something because that's not even what I fucking
I'm
said.
so it's gaslighting to demand proof of somebody making an assumption about a white cop?
Oh my god, you're literally doing it again.
You
No,
cannot
you're literally like
you
changing what I fucking
You
said.
literally can't even give me one example of white privilege, and your example is George Floyd, and I told you that there's no evidence that that was racially motivated.
Okay.
So what's another example? Do black people kill other black people?
Literally, an example is just that like black people are like probably like one of like the biggest like oppressed groups. Like, what are you even trying to like prove?
Is LeBron James oppressed? Michael
How
Jackson?
the fuck am I supposed to know what that is?
LeBron James is an NBA basketball player who's a billionaire. What about Michael Jackson? What about all these black rappers? What about all these black movie stars? What about all these black comedians? You know, where's the oppression? If there were oppression, there would be zero black people in Hollywood. There'd be zero black people in the NBA. There'd be zero black presidents. Barack Obama was black. He became the American president. That's impossible if there's oppression. If there is true oppression of blacks systematically, there would be zero successful black people. Why would there be? If they're holding blacks back, there would be no blacks in Yale University or Harvard. They wouldn't be able to get in, but they do get in. There's no oppression. You're just assuming because they fail, because a lot of blacks do poorly in life, that they're oppressed. No, they're just incompetent.
Okay.
So why do you assume that they're oppressed? You can't show me that there's any law anywhere in the West that specifically targets black people. Right?
What do you mean law?
Like there used to be,
Just general racism.
well, for example,
Like you.
now if the law was racist and said black people can't do this, black people cannot be the president, black people can't be doctors, then you'd have a point, but you don't have that point because it doesn't exist anywhere. Show me one country that has laws against blacks.
Did you have like a very like messed up childhood or something?
See, that's a diversion. You're doing some bullshit gaslighting yourself because you can't address my points.
Okay, well, what is your point?
My point is black people are not systematically oppressed. There's no laws that prevent black people from doing anything that they want. They just don't accomplish as much as other people because they can't, because they're not as skilled as other people. So what? You know, it's like saying that white people are oppressed because white people don't win the 100-meter race in the Olympics and only black people win that race. That doesn't mean white people are oppressed. That just means whites are not as fast.
So are you saying that like way more racism against white people than black people? Is that what you're trying to say or something?
Well, I can give you examples of that. Yeah,
Of racism against white people?
absolutely. For example,
Okay, then give me an example.
the mayor of Chicago, she came out and said that she's not going to give interviews to white journalists, and she's a sitting politician.
Okay, well, where's proof? Where's evidence?
Her name is Lori Lightfoot.
Okay, well,
Her name is Lori
what?
Lightfoot, and she said, I don't give interviews to white journalists. She's black. She's a politician. She's in power in Chicago right now. That's racism, right? You can show that in many universities they skip over white people to submit blacks and minorities. So they've done studies where they look at college admissions and they find that white people with higher GPAs don't get in, and black people with lower GPAs get in disproportionately, which means that they're doing racial privileging and biased admissions. They've actually, some white people have sued Yale University for that, and some Asians as well. What about all the big companies saying
Do
they're
you also...
like Google, for example? Now Google came out and said they let people identify their business as black owned, and they advertise on Google services that this is a black owned business. And they said they're doing this because they're trying to promote black businesses. But they don't let you say that this is a white business. And they all these big companies are saying they're going to hire black people, like 20% more black people every year because of the George Floyd. Isn't that biased? Isn't that privileging?
Privileging for who?
For black people. They say we're going to hire more black people, 20% more, just because they're black.
So you're going to deny that literally, like, probably, like there's, like, way more racism against, like, black people than pretty much, like, anyone else. Like,
well, that's not happening anymore. That may have.
Oh, that's not happening anymore.
That may have happened like.
Says who?
That may have happened like 60 years ago, and they actually did have laws
so you
against
think,
black people.
Like, racism just disappeared?
It disappeared in the legal system. Yes, it did not disappear.
Okay, so, like,
in
where
like,
do you live? In, like, fucking...
Dude, I just proved to you, you can't show me one law that discriminates against black people.
Why is it about, like, a law?
Because that is the system. When they talk about systemic, they mean system, meaning law, meaning government. But if you cannot show me that there's a law saying black people can't do something, then there's no systemic oppression. It's just like people happen to be biased and do biased things, but it's not the government doing that. It's just individuals doing that, right? Or maybe like a business. Maybe like if a business put up a sign that says no black people allowed in this business. First of all, they've actually made laws making that illegal. In the US, if you put up a sign that says no black people can come into my store, they'll fucking sue you and shit.
Yeah, no shit.
So that's the complete opposite of bias. I mean, they have laws making it illegal to be biased. So what are you smoking? And I don't agree with those laws, by the way. But you think white people are privileged. You know, I question that. If white people are so privileged, then, you know, why is it that you go to London, England, and half the people are brown? Why is it you go to Los Angeles or you go to New York City?
What does that have to do with privilege? Like, white privilege?
Because if white people were truly privileged, meaning they had the power advantage, they wouldn't be allowing their country to be flooded by non-white immigrants, would they? You wouldn't expect to see that.
So are you, like, anti-immigrant too, or what?
Well, let's just say that I am. It doesn't really matter. I'm just making the point that if white people had power, like you think that they do, then why are they allowing immigrants? That doesn't make any sense. So if the people who are in power are racists...
What you're saying doesn't make sense.
No.
What are you even talking about?
Because if the people in power right now are white people and they have racial preference for other white people, they wouldn't be allowing such massive immigration into their country. America's only 60% white. It used to be 90% white. So why would white racists allow...
So are you saying it was better when everyone was just white or something?
Well, I could be saying that, but it doesn't matter if I'm saying that. I'm just...
No, that's literally what you're saying.
Okay, but even if I believe that, it doesn't matter. Because what I'm saying to you is that what you believe is wrong because you think white people have power. You think white people have the control in society, right?
Dude, you're literally a fucking racist, so don't tell me what I'm saying is wrong.
That's irrelevant. That's an ad hominem. That's not an argument.
That's irrelevant. Yeah.
It's not an argument. I could be a racist, but what I'm saying is true, right? I could be Adolf Hitler. I could be Adolf Hitler, but what I'm saying is correct. It doesn't really matter, right? Who says it?
What does that even mean?
Because you're trying to make these fallacious arguments but you haven't proved what I'm saying is not true. You've just called me a name. I could call you a fucking bitch, right? But that doesn't...
Okay, so you're so homophobic.
But maybe, cool. But that doesn't mean like you're wrong technically about what you're saying just because you're a... I could call you a... But that wouldn't be an argument, you know? So I'm telling you, white people don't have power. White people who love white people, or white people who are racist, or white people who want to keep out non-white people, have no power anywhere. Show me one country where they have the power.
Okay, so have you ever, for example, been like excluded from something like I don't know, like a group or something because of like your race?
Personally, no, I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't, because you're like a fucking delusional, like cis white.
No,
racist guy.
I'm being excluded from power I'm being excluded. Well, listen.
Yeah, probably because you're fucking
I've been
racist.
excluded. For example, I've been excluded. Maybe it's not because I'm white, because I support
Because
whites.
you're a dick.
No, because
Yeah.
I support whites. So basically, you can support blacks and be on YouTube. You can support blacks and be on television. But if you support whites, they don't let you on there. They ban you from YouTube. They ban you from Twitter. They ban you from Facebook
Yeah, because
because they're
like how
anti-white.
you're literally proving them that they don't like allow that because you're like one of them and you're like fucking racist. So
They don't allow racism, but only if you're white, right? So they allow racism if you're black. So you can go on Facebook or Twitter and say, fuck white people. White people are devils. And you'll probably not be banned, right? You probably won't be. I've seen crazy shit from leftists. I've seen crazy shit from these black power people saying whites are devils. And you can get away with that on social media. But you can't if you're a white guy. If you're a white guy and you don't even have to be like mean. You don't even have to be against blacks. You could just be pro-white and say, I like white people and I don't like immigration or just something basic, and they will still ban you.
okay, so what do you have against immigration?
Well, I don't want to see white people replaced with other people. Why would I? That would be like saying, it would be okay if Japan was less than 50% Japanese. They would lose their culture. I want to go to see Japanese culture in Japan.
What the fuck? White culture? What even is
What?
that?
What?
White culture that literally doesn't
White
even exist.
culture. Well, it's European culture. What's black culture?
So are you saying like a white American is like has like European culture?
Yeah, he has Anglo-Saxon. I mean, America was founded as an Anglo-Saxon country, Anglo-Saxon Protestants with English culture, basically.
America was literally fucking stolen, but okay.
So what? They fought with the Indians. Who cares? Every country's technically you have a war and you win territory and you lose territory. That's how every country's formed. How do you think fucking Russia got so big? It just went and invaded and conquered all these countries, right?
Okay.
So every country has some kind of history of warfare and the killing and they either win territory or lose it. So you're telling me white people can't live in America because they fought with Indians?
That's literally not even what I said. When did I even say that?
Well, you're saying it's stolen, so you're basically saying it's illegitimate for white people to even be there.
That's not even what I said, but sure.
That's what you're implying by saying it's stolen. What else would I think about that? You're saying it's
Yeah,
stolen.
because it was like home to like Native American people, but then they made it like America.
Yeah, Native Americans fought each other and killed each other and conquered each other. So I guess Native Americans shouldn't be there. I don't say Native Americans should be somewhere else, but it was a country founded by white people. Fine, Native Americans, I would give them their own land. I would give them their own country. They can have a nation, but be separate from white. How about we just separate all the races? Separate the blacks, whites, and Native Americans. Let's do that. Why not?
Oh, okay.
If you think there's such racism and oppression against these minorities, then the best solution is to separate all of them, right?